Welcome to Virginia International Raceway for rounds 7 and 8 of Lamborghini Super Trofeo North America. VIR is one of those high-stakes, high-speed, high-consequence type of racetracks. In fact, the S's behind me are famous. The Huracans will be going through there at over 130 miles an hour. 1 foot wrong, and you will be in the wall. That's why it's the perfect place, set amongst these green fields, to unleash the bulls.
The Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo cars are the fastest in a straight line of anything we'll see on this IMSA weekend at VIR. And the event follows a tried and tested format with 2 50-minute races in front of a very knowledgeable crowd. By now, the drivers should have learned their way around the twists, turns, rises and falls of VIR and know exactly where the challenges are. Hello everybody, I'm John Hindhaugh from IMSA Radio. Justin Bell is schmoozing with the drivers, and it will be Shea Adam and Jeremy Shaw to take you through the action in a few moments' time. The weather much better than yesterday when we started off with a bit of dampness. The circuit here at Alton, Virginia has changed little since it was laid down. 17 corners, just over 3¼ miles. And it looks even better now than it did in those early days. Reopened in 2000, we might have lost it when it closed down in the 1970s. And what a disaster that would have been. It's a fabulous place to go racing. Well over 600 horsepower for the Lamborghini Huracans, the new for 2018 Evo version. A little more aggressive, a little more aero. The drivers are graded. The cars are all the same, and the windshield banners tells you which class they're in. It was damp at the start of the race yesterday. Laura Spinelli was leading, spun away in the chicane before the uphill S's, but managed to hold on to the lead somehow under great pressure at the old Oak Tree turn. Justin Price wasn't so lucky for Dream Motorsport coming down to the hog pen. He went onto extremely wet grass. There was no coming back from there. Taylor Proto in the black number 50 goes through into the lead and takes off into the distance as the track dried out. Proto and Piscopo taking the win overall. Brian Thenis coming through to win AM in the number 17 car.
Well, what a first round that was. Clean and green, as they say here, in the beautiful rolling hills of VIR. But it's time for race 2 of the weekend. And a man who didn't exactly have the first race go his way, but is starting on the pole for race 2 is Corey Lewis. Corey, tell us about the first race. That wasn't easy, but here you are on the front. Yeah, yesterday was a bit of a challenge. We started out in the wet and then transitioned to dry. So everybody had to switch over to slicks. Well, most of us did anyway. So ended up 4th. Wasn't ideal, but we proved that we had a really fast race car. And now we got to capitalize on the front row position here and hopefully be on top step when we're done here. And of course, points at this time of the season are really critical. But staying in front at VIR with the rhythm of this track, the speed of this track, that's not going to just like be easy going your way. No, I mean, we have some fierce competition here. I mean, Lamborghini Super Trofeo is no slouch when it comes to that. So points is everything for us. Right now we're sitting second in championship after yesterday's race. So like I said before, we just got to capitalize, stay clean, and gain as many points as we can. And again, top step is our main goal. A lot of people wanting to stop Corey doing that. In fact, the winner of race 1 is sitting right behind him on the grid.
Cars are rolling in the sunshine. Let's have a look at the 3¼ miles. Brian Sellers is our guide.
Here we are at the scenic Virginia International Raceway. Down into turn 1, we're braking at approximately the 2.5 marker, going down to second gear and diamonding the corner off to be able to carry entry speed and yet still get a good exit shot coming out of the corner. As we approach turn 3, it's a difficult brake zone, turning and bending while we brake, which makes the car a little bit unstable. Down to turn 4, hard braking down to second gear, a quick shot of throttle in between 4 and 5, and looking to get a great shot leading into the lower S's. As we exit the lower S's, we go to the uphill climbing S's, the most famous portion of the track at Virginia International Raceway. Up to 6th gear, roughly 155 miles per hour, full throttle, with a light breathe in turn 9, trying to get yourself set up for a light brake down to 5th gear and carrying a lot of speed through turn 10. As we approach the old famous Oak Tree corner, we're braking at the 1.5 marker, down to 3rd for the first part, down to 2nd for the second, and looking for a great exit shot coming out of the corner to try and make sure we set up a passing opportunity as we head down the long back straightaway. As we head down the back straightaway towards turn 14, we'll crest the hill and look for the turn marker at the end of the straightaway as a braking point. Once we get there, we'll brake heavy into the ABS, down from 6th to 2nd gear, using all the curb at the apex, full throttle with a short shift to 3rd to help the car turn. As we head down towards the hog pen section, all kinds of curb on the left and the right, trying to set yourself up for a good exit shot onto the front straightaway. And that's a lap at VIR.
Paul Miller Racing Lamborghini driver Brian Sellers with Madison Snow still leading the GT Daytona class in the IMSA WeatherTech Championship. Good luck to them. When we come back, we'll be racing. Coming to the green flag. Lights out on the safety car, and it will be Corey Lewis in the white number 29 on pole position. He's got Jonathan Cicotto in the prestige back number 1 alongside him. Taylor Proto won the race yesterday with Brandon Godovic on row 2. JC Perez led the race yesterday on row 3 with Stephen McAleer. Ryan Hardwick and Damon Oakey on row 4. Brian Thenis, who won AM yesterday, has Sheena Monk for company on 5. Row 6, Cameron Castles and Martin Barkey. Justin Price hit the wall yesterday, but his car is fine. Harris Mullins at the back, Jeremy Shaw and Shea Adam to take you through the race.
They're coming around out of the final turn. They'll be able to see the green flag in the air, just waiting for the command to be given, though, to be set free. Unleash the bulls as we go racing in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Series for 50 minutes. Corey Lewis with a great start and manages to hold off Jonathan Cicotto in the number 1. Jonathan dropping back already into the clutches of the number 50, Taylor Proto, and the 46 of Brandon Godovic. Corey with enough of a lead through the first turn that he doesn't have to worry about somebody coming up and hitting him from behind, and everyone, Jeremy, making it safely through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, car number 46 in 4th position. Brandon Godovic thought about trying to go around the outside for turn 1 to get him the inside for 2 and 3. Wasn't able to pull that off, so settles back there into 4th position. Great start from Corey Lewis.
He made the move in his head. He just didn't make the move on the track. Yes, we can see from the body language.
Discretion, the better part of valor there, definitely.
Very much so. 50-minute race. You don't want to throw it away in the first 30 seconds, especially given that this is a championship. We're getting toward the second half of the season. They're coming through in a line, going up the S's for the first time in this race contest. JC Perez ahead of Stephen McAleer off the start in the Pro-Am category, and Ryan Hardwick, who led from pole in the number 2, trying hard to fight off Damon Oakey, but Damon Oakey able to get around Hardwick in that early change around. 4 classes of cars, Pro, Pro-Am, Am, and LB Cup. They are all the same machinery, though, as we have a huge coming together coming out of Oak Tree. That is the number 67 of Martin Barkey, who's turned around on driver's left exiting Oak Tree. He is the only one who did not manage to continue around.
Not so sure that Damon Oakey wasn't involved in that. I think perhaps Sheena Monk as well, the LB Cup leader.
Well, Martin Barkey gets it fired back up and pointed in the right direction. His right-hand mirror is pushed askew. It's aiming back into the car. That won't do him much good. And let's see what happened. Oakey made it through. Ooh, Barkey might have gotten some help there from a white Lamborghini. I think that's possibly Paris Mullins, maybe?
Sheena
Was it
Monk,
Sheena?
I think so.
Yeah. He'll need to come into the pit lane. There's a bit of damage to the right-hand side of that car, and along with the mirror, but the floorboard is dragging underneath the passenger door. So the 67, which got its first podium yesterday, was very impressive, finishing second in the race, will need to make a trip down the pit lane, and the incident involving car number 67 is under review, but Barton Barkey stays out, at least for now. He reckons he doesn't need to see out the right side of his car, so he'll just keep going. The Canadian, who got a lot of racing experience yesterday with 2 endurance races under his belt, getting the opportunity to start today's race. It will be Shea Holbrook who takes over from him to finish. Corey Lewis, who is making hay while the sun shines, quite literally, as it was raining yesterday for part of the race, is enjoying driving around in conditions that are ideal for the 620-plus horsepower Lamborghini, as Taylor Proto goes off the track, drops 2 wheels, and then goes for a spin.
Yeah, he was a race winner yesterday. A brilliant drive by the youngster from England yesterday, but all went wrong a little bit there. Carried a bit too much speed into the first part of that double apex right-hander, got on the grass, and then probably fought a little bit too hard to try and get it under control again, and ended up spinning the car, so that's going to cost him a lot of ground.
Jeremy was taking the rain line through turn 11. He missed the apex completely, then dropped the 2 left-hand Pirellis off the side of the track, which wound up spinning him around as he was trying to regain control of the car. He rejoins back down by the LB Cup contenders. He's going to have a lot of ground to make up if we're going to have a repeat win for the number 50.
Yeah, that's right, and that's a shame for Taylor. It's his first mistake I can remember him making this season. He's had a really, really good year, just his second year of racing, and he's come on so much. I mean, just done a fantastic job. The championship leader coming into this round as a result of that win yesterday for himself and Eduardo Piscopo, but this will cost him some ground and allow the car of Corey Lewis and Madison Snow that's leading this race, that car number 29 for Change Racing, a potential here to perhaps even regain the championship lead.
And this is exactly what they want to see, Jeremy, because it now takes their championship rivals, well, everyone in the pro class really is still in with a shot realistically, but the people that they were fighting tooth and nail against are Taylor Proto and Eduardo Piscopo. They came out of the race yesterday, as you said, with the lead, but for Corey Lewis and Madison Snow, getting the pole position yesterday means that they've got a little bit of an advantage, because now they've got that extra point. They can take that momentum forward and try to hope to replicate getting a win for themselves, doing what the 50 did yesterday. But now the other 2 cars are on the podium, so the 50 scores fewer points, if you see what I mean. They've sort of inverted and then benefited even more the positions from yesterday. So Corey Lewis, who won't know any of this, because I'm sure the team is telling him absolutely nothing on the radio right now except go fast and you're doing a good job. He'll be happy to see that once he gets out of the number 29 machine.
Yeah, doing as you say, relishing the opportunity to come here. He's won here before at VIR in these cars. It's just a glorious racetrack, and he absolutely loves it here. Plus, of course, carrying the dealership colours from Change Racing and Charlotte.
10 minutes elapsed in race 2 of the weekend for the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Series here at Virginia International Raceway. Corey Lewis is your leader, leading from Jonathan Cicotto, 1.2 seconds separating the pair of them, and then Brandon Godovic is third in the number 46 machine.
And last time around, a new fastest lap of the race by our race leader, Corey Lewis. But as you say, there's still only 1.2 seconds in hand over Cicotto. As we see this battle again a little bit further back down the field. Cameron Castle's trying to get past Justin Price, and Sheena Monk and Paris Mullins right in the thick of it as well.
Cameron Castles has been driving a couple different cars this weekend, and Jeremy, he's been impressing us every time he's been on the racetrack. I don't want to give him the curse of the commentator right now by saying that and then him throw it off in some spectacular way, but Cameron has done an excellent job at Virginia International Raceway this weekend, whether it's been in a Lamborghini or something with a little bit more downforce. He has been improving every time we see him behind the wheel, and I feel like this track just really suits his driving style.
Yeah, he's gaining experience. Again, he's relatively new to the sport, started racing just a couple of years ago, and yesterday, particularly in the prototype challenge race, he did a really, really good job in very, very treacherous conditions. Stayed out there longer than most on the dry tires on a very wet track, and was running in a top 4 or 5 for a goodly portion of the race. Unfortunately, it was a full course caution at the end, which I saw him this morning. He said he didn't need that. He'd lost him a couple of places towards the end, but still, that was kind of a breakthrough perhaps for Cameron, and having a good race here as well.
It was a good race yesterday for Jonathan Cicotto in the number 1 machine once he got back out on track. weird incident when that machine came in for its pit stop. Trent Hinman brought it in from the lead of the race, and then it stayed on the pit lane, lost 3 or 4 laps before it came back out. But Jonathan, whose first trip to Virginia International Raceway is this weekend, was putting in lap times that were very respectable. He's proving that he can do it in the dry as well, because his best lap time is only 0.03 of a second slower than that of our leader, Corey Lewis.
And the problem yesterday when that car came into the pits was the fact they couldn't get the right front wheel off the car.
No.
And they changed the other 3 tires. They were on slicks ready to go, but they could not get that right front wheel off. So what they decided to do was to put it back onto the wets. Rather than send him out on 3 dries and a wet, they changed it back to wets. Well, that was not the tires to have in the closing stages, because the track was completely dry. So it was kind of not a good race for that team yesterday. I'll tell you, I've driven a car in those sort of drying conditions, and I came into pits, made a pit stop, supposed to go from wets to dries, ended up being a problem. I ended up with slicks on one side and wets on the other side of the car, which was a bit of a handful, but it actually worked fine. And I think they probably would have been better off yesterday by sticking with the 3 slicks on the car and the 1 wet. It would have handled a bit strangely, but it would have been a good bit quicker than it was. But hey, a bit of experience there gained, and Jonathan had a good attitude about it afterwards. As you say, they had a good run. Trent Hinman, his co-driver, had a great first stint in there. It's a big battle with Loris Spinelli, and right now the battle for Cecotto with that number 1 car is again for the lead of the race, this time with Corey Lewis, who set a new fastest lap of the race last time around.
Wow, yeah, and that battle that we saw between Jonathan Cecotto and Loris Spinelli, the co-driver, the number 71 Pro-Am entry, currently in 2nd position, got quite feisty at certain parts during the race. We'll see 2.0 play out on track today if they get anywhere near each other, and in drier conditions, it should be just as entertaining as it was yesterday. Cameron Castles looked down the inside at Justin Price in turn 1, gets the move done, and Sheena Monk tries to follow him through, makes it stick. What an optimistic move from Sheena Monk, and way to make it work. That was an impressive pass by Cameron Castles, very late on the brakes going into turn 1, managed to get it slowed down, didn't even lock up a wheel. There was no tire smoke or anything. Brilliant job by the Canadian in number 33. He's still 4th in the AM class, but now he's got all the LB Cup cars behind him, and they are all line astern.
And hats off to there for Sheena Monk for making that move on the inside as well. She is now leading the LB Cup class, despite the fact she's driving with an injured foot. She heard it earlier in the week. Saw her this morning. She's hobbling around a little bit, but driving well in that number 7 car. She missed one of the Friday practice sessions on purpose, just trying to give the ankle a little bit of maybe a bit of a recovery time to get ready for the races, and that's clearly paying off.
Now Justin Price is fully in the crosshairs of Paris Mullins, and the car number 88, the white Lamborghini with Luna written on the nose, makes it a little bit more intimidating and just a little bit more Italian that way to me, if that's even possible to make the Lamborghini even more Italian. But Justin Price managing to regain composure. He has to hold off Paris. Won't be an easy ask for that number 21 machine of Justin Price. Very much new to racing is Justin, but his longtime business partner, Ryan Hardwick, of an Atlanta motorsports group, of which you should go look on social media if you've got some spare time and would like to be envious of anyone else's lifestyle. Look up what Ryan and Justin do. He saw Ryan having so much fun last year, decided to come and give it a whirl himself.
That's right, and those two, they started their business, by the way, at age 19. It's now a big operation, so hats off to those guys, and they're now reaping the rewards and having fun with it.
Mountain Motorsports in Atlanta, Georgia. And as I said, Ryan Hardwick with a lot of Instagram followers. I look at it every now and then and just shake my head, because he lives the life that we all wish we could. And the problem that Taylor Proto is dealing with right now is the fact that the 2 cars in front of him, yes, they are in the AM class, but the difference is made by the drivers. Anybody can put their foot fully down to the floor in these, well, not anybody. In theory, anybody can. I don't know that my foot would actually go all the way to the floor, because my brain would be saying, no, 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 don't do that. But it's a series where the AMs are just as fast in a straight line as the quote-unquote pros, as Paris Mullins goes for a spin and is doing a bit of landscaping off across from the pit straight, so that is out of turn 17. But the problem for Proto, he can't get around Hardwick and Oki on the straights because the cars are equally as fast.
Yeah, and fast is the right word. I mean, they're doing 170 miles an hour on the straight. These are the fastest cars here this weekend. As we get a replay again of Paris just running out of real estate there on the exit of turn 17, going off into the pretty damp grass there from a lot of rain yesterday and overnight. But he's able, at least the good news is, he's able to get that car back onto the racetrack.
And he didn't hit anything, so it's doubly good. But now, of course, both of our white Lamborghinis are together on track. We only have 2 of them out of the 14 that run white liveries, and they're running nose to tail right now, which means that Paris Mullins is down a lap. The pit window is open, and the first taker, and I can't say I disagree with this one bit, Jonathan Cicotto has come in and handed over to Trent Hinman, who drove brilliantly yesterday in the first race in very mixed conditions. Also in the pit lane is the number 46 of Brandon Godovic. We'll be handing over to Shinya Mashimi, the 2016 Pro Champion. JC Perez also comes into the pit lane in the Pro-Am entrant number 71 for P1 Motorsports. He'll be handing over to Laura Spinelli. So Spinelli and Hinman on track together in theory. That'll be fun. And Taylor Proto comes in the number 50. So 3 of our 4 Pro entrants are in the pit lane. Eduardo Piscopo will be taking the 50 over from Taylor. Corey Lewis has stayed out though. He now has a 9.6 second gap over Stephen McAleer, the Pro-Am entrant, and I wouldn't expect to see Stephen come in until we get much closer to the 20 minutes to go mark.
Right, and Corey Lewis, his consistency at the front of the field is absolutely superb. The last 5 laps all within, certainly within 0.2 of a second, 45.92, 45.90, 45.92, those 3 laps within 0.02 of a second, and the 46.01 and the 46.11. So really nice consistency there from our race leader, Corey Lewis, who now brings that car onto pit lane, and it'll be Madison Snow to resume once their pit stop is completed.
Corey Lewis loves this place, and you can tell, you can see it in the body motion of the car, the way it goes through the corners. Everything about it is just to Corey Lewis's liking, and he will be reluctantly handing over the number 29 Change Racing Lamborghini. The good news is he shares with Madison Snow, another guy who has won here in Lamborghinis. You're looking at the 2 most recent GTD class winners at Virginia International Raceway. Madison Snow, who got pole and the win here in 2016. Corey Lewis's teammate got pole here in 2017, and they went on to take the class win both times in the Lamborghini. So they're familiar with how to get it done with the bull on the front of their car. Stephen McAleer has stayed out and by default is now leading. So the number 10 for Wayne Taylor Racing is our leader. Car 67, oh, the day goes from bad to worse for the Martin Barkey Shea Holdrick entrant. They came in to do their pit stop, but there is going to be a penalty, a warning for now. They made a late commitment to the pit entry, and race control makes it very clear of where the car's body should be positioned if you are going to dive into the pit lane. They try to make it as safe as possible so people aren't weaving across the racetrack. Race control now watching that car a little bit closer, and given the fact that they're going to be examining the contact between the 67 and the 7 of Sheena Monk that took place early on in the race and turned around the 67, race control letting us know that they're going to check that out after the race. Well, now they might be a little bit less lenient.
We shall see it. It's the number 10 car there. We see Stephen McAleer out in front of the field. He'll be enjoying this. He will have been enjoying that, yes, as he now brings the car into pit lane. 25 minutes remaining in the race, so exactly halfway through, and he will hand over to Randy Soleri from Pennsylvania to finish off the race.
Very fair of Stephen. He likes to share things equally, so he and Randy getting equal track time. I like to see that. Ryan Hardwick then is our race leader, since he has not yet come into the pit lane in the number 2 machine. An AM entrant just did his personal best fastest lap. Brian Thenis, who was in 2nd, comes into the pit lane this time around. Cameron Castles, who was in 3rd, we'll have to wait and see if he stays out or if he does come into the pit lane as well. But for now, that dream racing machine is perfect because Ryan Hardwick leading the race overall. He'll be a happy camper right now. Madison Snow is back out of the pit lane. We'll have to see what sort of lap times he can turn. Loris Spinelli on his first lap getting up to speed in the number 71 went fastest overall through the first sector, and then personal best through the third sector, and then personal best through the first. So wasting no time trying to get back to the front of the field.
Ryan Hardwick turning personal best sector times as well now in that car number 2 for Dream Racing and Motorsport. That's up powder blue and black. He's trying to make a bit of hay here while the sun does shine at VIR. He was running second place behind the number 09 car of Damon Oakey in the battle for AM class, but if he can stay out now, turn a quick lap, and then bring the car in, make his, he doesn't need to make a driver change because he's driving that car solo, as is Damon Oakey. But a good in-lap here now could give him the opportunity to leapfrog ahead of Damon Oakey by the time they resume.
And the only car yet to make the pit stop is Ryan Hardwick in the 2, as Damon Oakey has come back out from the pit lane, not sharing a car. So let's run down really quick the different drivers that are in the cars. In the number 29, it is Madison Snow now, having taken over from Corey Lewis, provisionally first in the pro class, and first once Ryan Hardwick does come in the pits. In second, it's Trent Hinman, who is right on the tail of Madison Snow after the pit stops.
Yeah.
Shindy Mashimi 7 seconds further back from that battling pair in the number 46. Has taken over from Brandon Godovic. In the, as Damon Oakey goes off the track, Jeremy, we say something good about him, and he goes for a long spin. I don't think he hit the tires, though. That's just off of turn 1, and he's now doing donuts, trying to get back onto the racing circuit. It's a difficult part there to rejoin because there's a bit of uphill, and he high sides it, but he keeps it going. Good effort, Damon. Back on the racetrack. That'll be advantage Brian Thenis then. Did he have help? Oh, he might have gotten a bit of target fixation.
I think he just tried to go a bit too much speed into the corner, because he's out of the pits here, rejoining. He knows, or he would have been told, that Ryan Hardwick stayed out, and he's pushing hard before he makes his own pit stop there. So trying not to lose a little bit too much ground there was Damon Oakey, just pushing a little bit too fast into the corner, went off the road, and that's going to cost him probably any chance to win the class again this afternoon.
Lamborghini Super Trofeo North America on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by TireRack.com, revolutionizing tire buying since 1979. And by Motor Trend On Demand. Visit MotorTrendOnDemand.com. Start your free trial today.
Just to fill you in on what's happening in the other classes, Ryan Hardwick has a 3-second lead on Brian Thenis. That's 2 from 17. Damon Oakey way further back after going for a couple of rotations in the 09, but he still holds down 3rd in the AM category. And an LB Cup, Sheena Monk with a comfortable lead over Justin Price in 2nd, and then Mark Proto in 3rd. Those 3 cars spacing themselves out nicely around the racetrack.
Yeah, so Sheena looking for her first win in LB Cup. She's had several second places, but this will be her first win, and having got her first pole for this race, that's a good stride forward for Sheena Monk.
You know, Eduardo Piscopo has a shot of catching up to Loris Spinelli. It would be a little bit of work for him to get back so that we have all of the pro cars together, but it's not unthinkable, especially if
a long way back, actually.
But if Loris makes a mistake, and we've seen a lot of cars sliding, and I mean, we've seen things like Taylor Proto making a mistake today. That was very unexpected from Eduardo's teammate. Trent Hinman 2.5 seconds clear of Madison Snow now. What do you think they said to him before the race, Jeremy? Said mean things about his mother?
Didn't have to say anything. I saw Trent before the start, about half an hour before the start, and he was all pumped up and ready to go, and super upbeat. He had fun yesterday. He was a bit upset yesterday with Loris Spinelli. They had a bit of a banging match out there, and he wasn't terribly impressed with some of what he described as European tactics, which aren't really the norm over here. But he said, rather than go over and remonstrate with him after, he said, look, I've been around this sport long enough, says Trent Hinman to himself. There's no need to go over there and make matters worse. I'll just stew on it and and everything will be fine. And it was, and he had a lot of fun out there. Led the race until the pit stop, which went awry with the wheel change issue. But he had a lot of fun yesterday. He was really looking forward to today's race, and now we can see why.
And that's why he's won 3 pretty big IMSA championships in his young career, has Trent Hinman, a very smart boy. Captain America, it's fair to call him. He wears the stars and stripes proudly on his helmet, and he really is the all-American boy. Trent Hinman leading Madison Snow, Shinny Mishimi in 3rd, and then Loris Spinelli back in 4th. Loris, who's 1.7 seconds back, less than that now, actually under a second back to Mishimi. So Spinelli forgetting about who's behind him and looking forward, trying to get around the red and black car of Mishimi. Now this could get interesting, Jeremy.
Yeah, and clearly here Spinelli is much faster than Shinny Mishimi. He's closed on a pretty rapid rate. Last time around, Shinny was sort of kind of back into his stride at 1:47.2, but now he's got to focus on making sure he does those sort of lap times consistently if he's going to have any chance of keeping Spinelli behind him, because Spinelli has closed up 10 seconds on the number 46 to Shinny Mishimi over the last half dozen laps.
With 10.5 minutes to go, the crew needs to remember to tell Loris Spinelli, this is for position, but not for the class. You already have a very comfortable lead in the Pro-Am class. You've got a win locked on if you bring the car home. If you bring the car home, don't risk it. Don't try to make the pass for 3rd overall. There's nothing to gain there if you think you're going to wind up in a ball of carbon.
Right, but by the same time, there's very little opposition really in Pro-Am. So Loris Spinelli, he just wants to get on the overall podium is what he wants to do. So he's going to go flat. As we saw yesterday, he was giving no quarter to Trent Hinman.
No.
Even though in the early stages of that wet race, he was quick at the very beginning. Now he's pushing the number 46 car from behind. There was a little bit of that going on yesterday between Hinman and Spinelli, with the other way around. Once Hinman got into his stride in the wet track and began to close on Spinelli, that was what was happening yesterday. A little bit of a help from behind Hinman was given to Spinelli. That's exactly what Spinelli did there to Mishimi.
Yeah, that was unsettling, the 46 car under braking. You actually saw the back of the car breaking loose, and I don't like to see that when you're coming in braking. It's just it's a bit rude, and as you said, a bit European. It's not how we.
It's hard racing is what it is. At that point, he's not slamming into the back of him. He's just letting you know he's there.
Yeah.
There was nothing egregious about that at all from my perspective. You should let him know, hey, I'm here, I'm faster. You're going to have to drive well if you're going to keep me behind you. But
and he didn't.
The pass has been made now. And Spinelli is on his way.
Yeah, Mishimi dropping back to 4th overall, but still 3rd in class, so he just needs to maintain that to try and get as many points as possible. Not going to win today, not with Trent Hinman driving the way he is at the head of the field. 4.4 seconds now clear of Madison Snow in the number 29 Change Racing Lamborghini, and then is the charging Loris Spinelli. Loris with about 8.5 seconds, a little bit more than that, to try and make it up to Snow, and 13 to get to the lead. We've got 8 minutes to go. Do you think he can make it up to Madison and then make it up to Trent?
It was 17 seconds, as you recall.
With 19 minutes to go.
19 minutes to go, so I don't think he's got enough to catch, certainly not to catch Hinman, no question about that. I don't think he's got enough time to catch Madison Snow either, but has anybody told Loris Spinelli that?
Well, somebody has told Trent Hinman that Loris Spinelli is charging, because Trent Hinman says, no, I'm the fastest thing on the racetrack. Let me prove it to you. He goes personal best through Sector 1 and overall best through Sector 2. His trap speed, that time around 170 miles an hour. That's a very decent lap. The best lap for that car now, a 145.4. Trent Hinman, the fastest thing on the racetrack. And Madison Snow by no means is giving up. He's just driving a very smart race, because he is somebody thinking championship, not only in this series, but as you mentioned, driving the Lamborghini in the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship as well. So Madison knows how to play the points game. He's a very savvy young man, having already won championships twice in the Porsche version of the IMSA Championship. Very, very impressive driver. Chasing Trent Hinman, a guy who's won 2 different Lamborghini championships and the Continental Tires Sports Car Challenge Championship back in 2014, the GS champion, the youngest ever, and still the youngest GS pole sitter. So Trent Hinman, a guy we've known about for a while. He's still a youngster by many standards, but a very mature and accomplished driver. With 3 minutes and 40 seconds left in this race, race 2 of the weekend from Virginia International Raceway, Trent Hinman wishing that they both had gone the way that this one has gone.
Yes, ifs, ands and buts, but it's been a great drive by, first of all, by Jonathan Ciccollo to keep the car in contention. He was only about a second or so behind the number 29 car driven by the first stage by Corey Lewis through the first stint, and now Trent Hinman has done the job since then. But Cameron Castles there is being lapped by Loris Spinelli. It's going to cost Spinelli a little bit of a bit of time, but he's been closing about a second a lap on the number 29 car of Madison Snow. I don't think he's going to run out of time, because it'll be, I believe, the white flag. There might be 2 more laps.
They're coming into sector 3 now, Jeremy, so yeah, I would think that there will be 2 more laps. Trent Hinman crossing the start-finish line now. Nope, I was a bit too early. Sheena Monk leading in LB Cup. Ryan Hardwick in the 2 leading in AM. Laura Spinelli, Pro-Am leader. And Trent Hinman, overall leader in the Pro category. Really impressed with Sheena Monk's drive today. She's just kept her head down, done fairly consistent lap times, and done exactly what she needed to. But that pass was a flash of perhaps what's to come in her very young career.
That's her plan, certainly.
Trent Hinman and Corey Lewis now within the same camera shot again. Still separated by 7 seconds on the timing screen. But for Madison, that's enticing when you can see the car ahead of you that you're chasing, and you can see it getting smaller and smaller. Madison's just got to be saying the mantra to himself over and over again: championship, championship, points, points. Think about the bigger picture. For Trent Hinman, though, he doesn't care. He knows the only way to win the championship is to get as many points as he can, and in order to do that, you got to win as many races as you can. And for the 2017 Pro-Am champion, Trent Hinman, a bit frustrating to see the opportunity to defend the title in Pro pretty much out the window at this point, but he still wants to win races.
He does. There's now just less than 1.5 minutes remaining, so it will be the white flag this time around. Just 1 more lap, 3.27 miles. Across a couple of corners leading down the hill here for Trent Hinman and Prestige Performance and Wayne Taylor Racing.
The car with the number 1 on the side of it now knows it only has to make 1 more circulation around Virginia International Speedway at speed. And of course there is a victory lap if that should be what they get. White flag is in the air and waving over the black and blue car from Wayne Taylor Racing, Prestige written on the side of it. Trent Hinman knows this circuit very well, and he knows that he only has 16 corners to go, and now 15, making quick work of them in his Lamborghini. Madison Snow still in second. Laura Spinelli 4.5 seconds behind Madison, so Madison's position in second overall will be good enough as long as he doesn't make any mistakes. Shinny Mashimi third in Pro-Am, and he's too far back to be touched by Laura Spinelli, and has a good gap over Eduardo Piscopo, so I don't think we're going to see any lap changes.
No, I don't think so, but certainly Piscopo is certainly closing on Machimi. It's down to just a couple of seconds between number 46 and 50 cars, so Machimi has struggled a little bit in this race, and Piscopo, having taken over from Taylor Proto at that spin early on, has been making good progress. He's going to finish in the top 5 overall, it looks like.
Hinman now sees Damon Oki ahead of him, the 3rd place car in the AM category. Shouldn't be an issue though, as Damon Oki, a very heads-up driver, has a lot of experience, as you were mentioning, in these cars in this championship, and should be able to stay well ahead of Trent as he comes into the roller coaster one last time. A little correction on the wheel there from Trent as he goes through into braking. Wheels just starting left and right ever so slightly. He sees the yellow and blue car ahead of him and realizes that won't be an issue. That'll just block his view of the checkered flag a little bit better. As Trent Hinman out of Hog Pen corner, up the hill, over the brow, along the pit lane wall, will now cross the stripe and takes the checkered flag. So it's a win for Jonathan Cicotto and Trent Hinman in the #1 Wayne Taylor Racing Lamborghini. Their second of the season. For Madison Snow and Corey Lewis, they bring it home at second in that number 29 Change Racing Lamborghini. Third overall, and our Pro-Am winner in the number 71, Loris Spinelli, who shares the car with JC Perez. And we wait for Shinny Mashimi to bring the number 46 car home in third. And he does just that. Excellent, now we can say. And Eduardo Piscopo home in fourth position for the number 50. Ryan Hardwick bringing it across the line, Jeremy, in the number 2.
Yeah, and Sheena Monk still leading in LB Cup, but a great last lap there from Loris Spinelli, the fastest lap of the race, a 1:45.007 as he closed to within 3 seconds of Madison Snow, but still third place it is for car number 71 overall.
Here comes Ryan Hardwick to claim the AM victory, finger fully out the window. Number 1, yes you are today, Ryan. You are the first car home in the AM class. Well done by Ryan Hardwick and the Dream Racing Motorsport team. It's a good day for them in the AM category, and their driver in the LB Cup brings it home in second, Justin Price, but it is Sheena Monk getting her first win in car number 7 for the LB Cup contenders. The focus all on the front of the field, though, as Trent Hinman, with a brilliant drive after taking over from Jonathan Cicotto, comes home with a win.
The Lamborghini Super Trofeo North America once again delivering excitement and entertainment to the IMSA weekend here at VIR in Virginia. And at the end of the second 50-minute race, at the top of the timing screens, Hinman and Cicotto take the overall, and the Pro, Perez and Spinelli, third overall, take the Pro-Am. Am goes to Ryan Hardwick in the top 6, and Sheena Monk takes the LB Cup in a creditable 10th position overall.
We're here in Victory Lane with the winners of the second Lamborghini Super Trofeo North America at VIR, Trent Hinman, Jonathan Cicotto. You came out of the pit lane behind the leaders and you took the win at the end. I mean, what a way to round off a weekend at VIR.
Hey man, I mean, I stared at the back of that 29 car for the entirety of the second half of race 2 at Road America. I wasn't gonna let it happen again. These Wayne Taylor Racing guys, Prestige Performance, Jonathan, all these dudes work way too hard for me to allow that to happen. So I had to do what I had to do. I got a little bit aggressive there, but you know what? I knew we had a great car. I knew we had something to win with, so I took advantage of it.
And it got Jonathan a great opening stint. One of these cars, a Lamborghini, round this track, that back straight is pretty fast, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we reach over 270 kilometers per hour. I don't know how much of it's miles per hour, but yeah, Trent did an awesome job. I started P2, I kept it there in P2 position in attacking position for Trent to finish off, and yeah, the team was great, the car was perfect. We really deserved this win.
And of course, points count for everything, and you're getting in a good position for the run to the end of the championship.
Well, I've just done the arithmetic, and 270k is nearly 170 miles an hour. Piscopo and Proto have the smallest possible advantage after 8 rounds over Snow and Lewis in the Pro standings. JC Perez, Loris Spinelli, 41-point leaders in Pro-Am. In the Am, Ryan Hardwick now 9 ahead of Damon Oakey. And in the LB Cup, it's Mark Proto and Paris Mullins ahead of Sheena Monk, but she's closed down to 16 with the win this weekend.
Well, that's a wrap here from VIR. What a weekend of Lamborghini Super Trofeo North American racing. 4 young drivers, incredible racing, incredible winners. And now, of course, as we draw near the end of this championship, every point will count. So don't forget to join us for the next 2 races from WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca.
For Shea Adam, Jeremy Shaw, Justin Bell and our entire crew, I'm John Hindhaugh. In association with IMSA, this has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.